My name's Glenn, and let me show you around my yard. So, first of all, when we bought this house, I came outside, I went in the back, I saw the canal, and it took me all of 5 minutes to say that we'll take it. I love this place, but there are some things that are certainly, once you live here for a while, you find out that you wish it was a little bit different. First of all, when you walk out of our back room to the backyard, you look towards our neighbor's house and you look out the side of the house. And in reality, what's so special about our house is if you look towards the back, it was the canal. And none of this was really here except for the deck. But we fell in love with the canal, but when you look through this house, you don't really see it from not only as you walk out the side, but if you look out the back of our house, you'll see that you don't get to appreciate that we're on water, whether it's the pool or the canal. So come on back and let me show you my cabana. So come on in, let me show you our cabana. This is what you see from outside our bedroom window. It's a great room. It was a pool house. We did this for space off of, not only off the pool, but here it is on the canal. And it's a wonderful room. My friends are often jealous that here's my couch, my TV, my refrigerator, but it does get a little hot in here. The sun comes through. The summer was when you want to use this room the most to get out of the heat and the bugs. And so I think my screen sometimes is a problem, that there's a better way for me to keep out heat. And one of my little easy fixes was I bought this portable air conditioner and I roll it up next to me when I'm laying on the couch catching a game, and I'm not sure it makes a lot of sense. Come on over, let me show you my outdoor fireplace. Again, it was a great idea to sit around a fireplace. They had torn down an old Coca-Cola building downtown. I went down there to buy a pallet of bricks to recycle, and I asked a guy to not only give me a fireplace that we could sit in front of, but I also wanted a cooker out of it. Come around back and let me show you. So he put in this smoker, and again, the thought of it was great, but the reality is it doesn't work. It doesn't cook the food right. On the top rack, the food doesn't even get hot. On the bottom rack, it gets too scorched. And I really wish that it was something that would work, as it was a big feature that I liked the idea of what we were doing. It doesn't really work for us. Maybe because the stacks weren't tall enough. I'm not quite sure, but you can't sit in front of this fireplace because all the smoke comes out of the front of it. And so while it looks good, and when people see it they think it looks good, it's not really functional. So this is a pretty good example of our yard. When we first moved here, hello Izzy. When we first moved here, this palm tree was down about my height, and like everything else, it's grown up so tall. It's growing into the house, it's growing into the windows. I just don't know what to do with it. So this is our pool equipment, and I know when we put the pool in that the equipment was far enough away that I could actually put some plants so that you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't see it from the cabana, you wouldn't see it if you were in the pool. And I have taken almost every plant we have in our yard and put it in front of it, and I can't seem to block it. And it just feels like it would be so much better to have this shielded from the rest of this great yard.
This is the view from my bedroom window, the master bedroom. As you can see, we can see the side of the cabana, an old bench, a lot of overgrown weeds, and then there's some other things over here I'd like to show you. When we first moved here, this lacy fern and this fig tree were about this high, so I could see them out of my bedroom window. Now you can see how high they are. They go up way over the roof, And also you can see here in the corner I've got beautiful bird of paradise that go way above those trees even. And of course this old oak tree. We've tried really hard to preserve the oak trees and all of the plants in our yard. We like the old Florida native plants that are drought resistant. This tree is a great example of how we've tried to preserve it. I'm not sure if it's going to last. It got hit by lightning. If you come over here you can see it. It got hit by lightning and we're not sure how much longer it's going to take. We've had an arborist come out, we've had a tree guy come out, and we're hoping to keep it, but we don't know if we can. This is an old tangerine tree, if you can believe it or not. When we first moved here, it used to produce tangerines that were mostly ornamental. They weren't very good to eat, but at least it was attractive. Now, I don't know what's happened to it, but it's lost all of its leaves. It's covered in moss, and it's really just an eyesore. If you look down below it, you'll see all of the overgrown fern, weeds, sporadic trees that just have popped up over the years, and then the chain link fence, and then our neighbor's house. Again, this is the tangerine tree, oak tree corner of the yard that also gets a lot of mosquitoes. I think just because of all the overgrown plants and because there's just nothing there to kind of ward them off. This is the side yard between us and our neighbors on one side. As you can see, again, overgrown plants, these pokey plants, I don't even know what they are, just appear out of nowhere. As you can see, we're unable to keep grass growing back here because of the shade. So we're really not sure what to do with this space because it just kind of sits here. We put an old bench over to the right of the property, but nobody sits there because of the mosquitoes. This is the deck that comes off the side of our house. As you can see, it has a tree growing in the middle of it, which we love, so much so that we've even cut out part of the roof in order to preserve the tree and to let it continue growing. I'm not sure how smart that is, but it's kept the tree over the years. But as you look at the deck, it's pretty dilapidated. It's starting to get deteriorated and not look so good anymore. When my husband and I first got married, we each had a dog. I had a golden retriever, he had a black lab. Over the years, they've passed away. When my golden retriever passed away, my husband planted this camellia bush for me, and as you can see, it doesn't even bloom, or you can't even see that it's there because of all the overgrown vines. I gave him a stone in our garden to commemorate his dog, and you can't find that now either. As you can see, it's very overgrown. We have all these saplings that have just grown in. You'll see a lot of bromeliads in our yard because they're a great Florida plant. They're drought resistant, they spread on their own, and at times they can be colorful. The problem is they're everywhere because every time we have a hole in the garden, we usually throw a bromeliad in them because they're there and we have a bunch of them. If you walk over this way, you'll see, again, the yard continues to be overgrown. And this is the side yard that we have a gate to our neighbor's house, which we love because we have kids the same age. The kids run back and forth, share clothes. It's a great way to be in our community, and we love it. But again, we're very overgrown, and you can see their yard's quite manicured. This is the path that leads down to the outdoor shower. Again, you'll see probably the world's largest philodendron growing on our oak tree, overgrown birds of paradise. And as you walk this way, you'll continue to see overgrown bird of paradise. Oh look, more overgrown bird of paradise. And this is our outdoor shower. And this really just bathes the dog at this point because it does have hot and cold water, but you see the bottom was put in by my husband. No offense to my husband, but it doesn't really drain very well and is not very inviting for people to come and use. When we first moved here, we had a magnificent tree that grew up over the canal, and we had a rope swing on it. It was amazing. Then we had a tree guy come out, and the inside of the tree was hollow, so we had to cut it down. Unfortunately, we never got the stump out, which is now here with fern and things growing out of it. We've got some sapling trees that have grown up out of it, but have never really been able to replace that part of the yard. To demonstrate the lack of flow in our yard, you have the stone steps and dirt, which connect to professionally laid river rock, which we like around the pool deck, that connect to unprofessionally laid river rock, which are uneven with sharp corners, not so good on the bare feet, to artificial wood ramp, down to the real wood dock, and up again to the non-professionally laid stump.
I know we have a great yard, and we did all of this work before the recession. My company sells to the real estate industry, and when the recession hit, we laid off a lot of people. And I know I'm grateful for what we do have, but I am the yard guy here, and I can spend all weekend in this yard, and you wouldn't know it. And it's a time thing. I'm probably working harder than I ever have now, and so I wish that I could come home and have a much easier place for everybody to enjoy, and me to enjoy, and not just look around and see all the things that I should do or could do to make it better.
I really love our backyard, but I wish that we had more space to host people and hang out with friends. Like, for example, every time we come out here, the table is so gross and no one really wants to like sit here. I'd rather just have somewhere that we could like plop down and hang out. Another thing I don't like is that my dad has to spend so much time in the yard, like on weekends when we all just want to hang out, and he's always either like mowing the lawn or weeding.
Hi, we're the Jaffee family, and we live in Maitland, Florida. I'm Jody, and I'm 52.
I'm Jenna, and I'm 15.
I'm Glenn, and I'm 50.
And we also have a daughter, Megan, who's 18, who goes to college at Florida Southern College, and a son, Justin, who's 25, and he lives in Greenville, South Carolina.
How long have you been married?
Almost 20 years in April.
And what are your occupations?
I'm an office manager for CPA.
And I'm the vice president of sales for a consulting company, and we're involved in real estate.
And Jenna, what grade are you in?
I'm a sophomore in high school.
And what grade is Megan in?
Megan is a freshman at college.
What is the square footage of your home, and how many bedrooms?
About 2,900 square feet, and it's a 4-bedroom.
What's the square footage of your backyard?
About 5,000 square feet. It's 50 feet to the water, and then about 95 feet wide.
What year was your home built, and what style is it?
1977, and I think I would call it a ranch style, 70s ranch style.
Yes.
And what year did you move in?
In 1999.
Yes.
How much time, energy, or expense have you invested in the backyard?
Probably a lot. I think we put in the pool, we put in this cabana, the boathouse, and so we've invested a lot in time and expense.
I would say most of our expense has probably gone into the backyard versus the house itself.
That's true.
Why do you need a backyard makeover? Describe what it looks like now and any problem areas.
Well, our backyard has transformed itself since we've lived here. It didn't really have much in it. We've had a swing set in it for when the kids were little and a zip line in it when they were adolescents. And now is the time that they just want to bring kids here to relax and have fun. And it's just not really conducive to that. It's kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different projects over the years, things that were put in at different times that don't necessarily mesh together.
I think I would add, just as the kids get older, we want to create this magnet for them to come back to. We want them to bring their friends here. We want to hang out at the house, and it just needs to grow up a little as they have.
What do you hate about your backyard?
Hate's a strong word, because we really do love our backyard. We spend a lot of time here. Unfortunately, Glenn spends a lot of time working in the backyard and not enjoying it as much as we would like for him to. But it's, it is an oasis for us, but there are some things that, are overwhelming us. Some of the trees are probably rotten and need to come down. I know we have a lot of overgrown foliage and a lot of weeds. We have areas that we can't grow grass, walkways that are laid with river stones that are sharp. We have just multiple things that need work.
And, again, hate is probably, I don't mean this to be a pity party on me, but it takes a lot of my time, more so to take care of it than it does to actually enjoy it.
Which leads into the next question. Has your backyard affected your relationship?
I'll answer that. That sometimes I end up working a lot in the yard, and we don't necessarily get to come out and just enjoy it, but I get to come out and take care of it.
Is your backyard affecting your relationship with friends or family outside the home?
Well, like when my friends come over to hang out, there's just not really a lot of space that we can do so. We used to like hang out in the pool and stuff, but now we just kind of want to like chill by the fireplace, and it's not really that easy because it's just overgrown and messy.
Because the backyard is so shaded, any outdoor space we have that's not covered is usually just dirty. So if we want to have friends and family over, we have to clean, and it's not spontaneous, and we would like it to be more spontaneous.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, is that if we have friends over, if they invite friends over, then it's a day's worth of work for me to get it ready for everybody. So it just turns into a lot of work.
What is your biggest fear if nothing changes about your backyard? What does it mean for your family, your daily lives, and your relationships?
I think we're in an incredible place, and it's unfortunate that we don't enjoy it more than we do, but look, don't get me wrong, our backyard is our front porch. There's a canal out here that is meant for people who come by on a boat or a paddleboard to stop in, and you hate to just sometimes look around and be a little bit embarrassed about what we have, and I hate to even say that or feel that way, but I know sometimes we do.
Well, and I think that, our life does surround around jumping on the boat and going out in the lake or go paddleboarding, but we want to be able to come back and relax afterwards and not have to worry about, cleaning everything up before we can have the grill out and barbecue and have friends over for a meal.
What does your dream backyard look like?
Oh, I can answer that. I would love for the back of the house to open up to the back of the yard. Right now it comes out of the side. The back room that we have was originally the back porch when the house was built, and then they converted it into an artist studio before we bought it, and then we've converted it into like a TV room. But our kids are at the age now where I would like to turn that more into a back porch feel with sliding doors that open all the way across the back, so when the weather's nice we can open it up, and when it's not we can close it up and keep it AC. But I just want a covered sitting area for meals and to entertain and to feel like we're in the backyard but still have it covered so it's always ready to be used.
I always felt from the moment we bought this house that we would turn it into something that was kind of a dream come true for us. So when I hear this, to me that's what I want. That's my dream.
Feel free to tell us about your lives, your hobbies, your interests.
I love to travel. That's one of my favorite things to do. We love the outdoors and nature. That's why we love our backyard, because it is very natural. We love to boat as a family. We like ocean boating, lake boating.
For me, outdoors. The boating is probably a big part of our life. The paddleboarding, kayaking, and just being out on the water.
Me too.